They say it's dangerous to climb a ladder in a sundress. I say it's more dangerous to ask him to hold it. It was a Saturday morning, thick with sunlight, the kind that makes your skin hum and your thoughts wander. I had decided to prune the wisteria creeping over the old pergola in my garden, something I'd been putting off, half out of laziness, half because I liked the way the vines softened the edges of the world. I wore a pale linen dress and no shoes. The breeze slipped around my legs like it had secrets. And Nathan stood below, quiet, watching. He was my best friend's brother, a few years younger, visiting for the weekend. Harmless, I'd told myself. Polite, helpful, the kind of guy who offered to carry groceries without being asked. I liked the way he lingered in doorways, like he wasn't sure if he should come in, like he didn't quite trust himself. "Can you hold the ladder for me?" I asked, already halfway up. He nodded, stepping forward, his hands bracing the sides, steadying me. I climbed higher. The leaves rustled around my face, sun dappling through. And then I felt it, that flicker of awareness. His breath slow, his eyes below. My dress clung to my thighs as I stretched, revealing just enough to make me wonder if he was wondering too. I shouldn't have felt it. That slow curl of heat in my belly. That shimmer of something unspoken tightening the air between us. "Is it steady?" I asked. His voice was low. "Yeah, I've got you." But it was more than the ladder he was holding. When I glanced down, his eyes met mine. Open, wide, and then something else. Flicker. A pulse. I felt it between my ribs. And that's when I knew, he saw more than he should. I could have adjusted the angle, pulled my hem down, said thank you and moved on. But I didn't. Instead, I leaned further into the branches, deliberately slow. Let the soft fabric of my dress ride a little higher as I stretched. My bare toes curled on the rung. I could feel his hands tighten on the ladder. Was it wrong to want to be seen? To wonder what it would feel like if he touched more than cold metal? The garden buzzed with cicadas and low birdsong. But under that, something quieter stirred, like the breath before a kiss, or the beat between a question and its answer. "You okay down there?" I asked, glancing again. He cleared his throat. "Fine. Just making sure you don't fall." But I already had, hadn't I? Not all the way. Just enough to tilt the world sideways. I came down slower than I needed to, each step intentional. When my feet touched the grass, I was hyper-aware of the way his gaze followed me. I brushed past him to grab a basket for the clippings, close enough that the edge of my hip nearly touched his hand. And he didn't move away. Later, we drank iced tea on the porch. His sister was inside on the phone, laughing loudly about something that made no sense. Nathan sat beside me, close but not close enough. "I didn't mean to stare," he said suddenly, not looking at me. I smiled into my glass. "I didn't mean to let you." He looked up then, eyes dark, curious. Like he'd just realized we were speaking in a different language now. One made of glances and silences and the impossible pull of two people who shouldn't. And I knew then. This was not harmless anymore. The next morning, I found him in the kitchen before anyone else was up. He stood barefoot in sweatpants, pouring coffee, his hair a little wild. It was intimate seeing him like that. Too intimate. "Couldn't sleep?" I asked, keeping my voice light. He shook his head. Kept thinking about stuff. I didn't ask what. I already knew. Because I hadn't slept either. He handed me a mug, fingers brushing mine. Just a touch. But I felt it like a spark leaping skin to skin. We drank in silence. The air thick with something unspoken. I wanted to touch his jaw. I wanted to ruin the calm. Instead, I turned away. "I need help moving the ladder again." He followed me outside without a word. This time when I climbed, I wore shorts. Something in me wanted to test him. To know if yesterday had been an accident or a beginning. As I reached higher, I felt the wind slip beneath my shirt. Cool against my back. Warmth at my legs. His hands were there again, steadying. I looked down. His face was tilted up, jaw tight, eyes not quite meeting mine. "What are you thinking?" I asked softly. He didn't answer. But later, when I stepped down and turned to thank him, his hand caught my arm. Lightly. Just for a second. And in that second, everything tilted again. That night, we were alone in the living room. A storm rolled in, soft thunder in the distance. Rain tapping the windows like a secret trying to get in. We sat on opposite ends of the couch. A movie played forgotten. The air smelled like wet earth and something sweeter. He shifted. I shifted. And somehow the space between us narrowed. I'm leaving tomorrow, he said. I know. He looked at me like he was memorizing. I said his name. Just that. And it broke something open. His hand found mine hesitant. Like he needed permission. Like he wasn't sure if this was still a ladder he could hold. When our fingers laced together, my breath caught. I shouldn't, he whispered. I leaned in, voice barely a breath. But you want to. He didn't kiss me. Not yet. But his hand slid up my arm, slow, reverent. My skin burned under his touch. Every nerve awake. And when he finally touched my cheek, just the edge of it, I closed my eyes. We didn't move closer. We didn't have to. Everything we needed was in that breath between us. Morning came too fast. His bags were packed. The car idled in the driveway. His sister hugged him, unaware of the wildfire she was leaving behind. When it was just us, he turned to me. I'll be back in a month. I nodded. I'll be here. He started to say something more but didn't. Just leaned in, kissed my cheek and left. The mark of his lips stayed with me all day. Like the ghost of something that hadn't happened yet. That month we didn't text. We didn't call. But I felt him anyway. Like heat from a memory that wouldn't cool. When he came back, everything felt different. He was bolder. Quieter. More sure. And I was less willing to pretend. We ended up in the garden again. Not by accident. He picked up the ladder without asking. Set it against the wall. You going up? He asked. Not today. He turned. Our eyes locked. And I walked toward him slowly, step by step, until the space between us disappeared. I kissed him first. Or maybe it was both of us. That kind of kiss where you meet halfway without thinking. Without breathing. His hands found my back, then my waist, pulling me in. My fingers tangled in his hair. It was soft. Too soft for someone who looked at me like that. We sank to the grass, laughter slipping between kisses, like we couldn't believe we were finally letting go. But even in that chaos there was reverence. Like we both knew we were touching something we'd been afraid to name. I've thought about this, he murmured. How many times? Enough to know I want more than just today. And there it was, the line. Not just a summer temptation. Not just a wrong place, wrong time. But something deeper. Dangerous in a different way. Because wanting was one thing. But needing made everything real. His sister found us one evening, too close on the couch, my legs draped over his. Her eyes flicked down, then back up. A pause. A shift. I didn't know you two were close, she said. We weren't. Not publicly. Not yet. But the truth hung in the air like ripe fruit. After she left, I asked him, is this worth it? The secret, the risk? He pulled me closer. Yes. Because with you, it's not about what I'm not supposed to feel. It's about what I can't stop feeling. We stayed up all night talking. About fear. About longing. About the first moment we both knew. The ladder, the heat, the unspoken invitation. And we knew then, this wasn't a fall. It was a surrender. I still see him in the garden sometimes months later, helping me with repairs, reaching for tools, smiling like the whole world changed and no one else noticed. We're not hiding anymore. Not exactly flaunting it either. Just existing in this quiet, simmering truth. And every now and then, when he passes behind me, his hand brushes my lower back. Just a touch. But it says everything. I asked him to hold the ladder. And maybe he did. But he also caught me when I fell. Not down, but inward. Into something bigger. Riskier. Realer. Thanks for listening. If you've ever fallen for someone you weren't supposed to, tell me. I want to know I'm not alone. Like, share, subscribe. Because sometimes the best stories are the ones we almost didn't tell.